These days, in the matchmaking scene, ordinary women seem to be more sought after than conventionally beautiful women. Is this because men have become more conscious, or are they simply hesitant to pursue beauty?
We don't need to worry that a man would choose someone he himself doesn't find attractive. If there's a shift happening, it must be tied to a change in how beauty is perceived. For instance, in the past, we might have thought that a woman with symmetrical features, a curvy figure, and an elegant demeanor embodied beauty. But now, it seems men are becoming less drawn to this kind of surface level attractiveness. Does this mean beautiful women are no longer appealing? Absolutely not. Beauty has an undeniable, natural allure. However, today's era of equality and free love has also brought with it unprecedented levels of uncertainty and risk in marriage. A breakup or divorce can leave a man financially devastated and his family life in ruins. In this game, minimizing risk has become far more important than physical beauty or a stunning figure. Of course, everyone can view themselves as an excellent woman, but if judged by societal standards, an excellent woman, from a man's perspective, is one who brings positive contributions to the family. High beauty and an attractive figure, on the other hand, might actually be seen as potential risks.
So, would you call this shift an evolution of aesthetics or simply a more rational approach?
Personally, I see it as aesthetics yielding to reality.
Some people online say that men are practical, they date based on beauty, but marry for qualities like being a good wife and mother. What's your take on this?
The idea that men date beautiful women but marry virtuous wives and mothers suggests that such relationships aren't always about love. In these cases, the man isn't truly in love. He's driven by personal desires, reducing the other person to a means for fulfilling those desires. As for the concept of a virtuous wife and mother, I think it should be redefined as a woman who genuinely loves her family and is willing to support it out of love. It shouldn't be mistaken for the outdated idea of a woman who blindly submits to her husband and family. When viewed this way, the expectation seems entirely reasonable. I don't believe any man would intentionally marry someone he finds unattractive just because she's obedient. That would be an overly utilitarian view. Personally, I think men are naturally inclined to like women, and if the woman they love also happens to cook, clean, and care for the children, it becomes an enormous emotional benefit to them. So, the essence of the virtuous wife and mother idea lies in emotional value. Not just anyone who can cook and clean fits the role. A housekeeper, for example, cannot replace it.
But for a man to marry someone, he has to feel she's worth it, whether that's economically or emotionally, right?
At the end of the day, it's the woman's presence that brings him joy and fulfillment. If being with her makes his life better, isn't that an emotional connection? When we say a woman is beautiful, we're not just talking about her facial features. Anything that makes us feel good or brings us a sense of joy and comfort can be considered beautiful. That's why we find a flower beautiful, why a warm coat feels beautiful when we're cold, and why, when we long for a home, a virtuous wife and mother feels like the most beautiful thing of all.
When it comes to looks, for most people, my advice is simple. As long as they're easy on your eyes, that's enough. The focus should be on how you feel when you're with them. If you're determined to go after someone with extraordinary physical beauty, you need to ask yourself if you can truly handle what comes with it. There are two sides to this handling. First, you need to evaluate whether you have the abilities to back it up. This means your intelligence, emotional intelligence, and financial stability. The more desirable someone is, the higher the cost of being the one to have them. Think of it like a rare piece of jade. If you're the only one who wants it, you can probably get it without much effort. But if a million people want it, you'll have to pay a much higher price to make it yours. This isn't to say that extremely attractive people are inherently materialistic or gold diggers. It's just that the competition from others naturally elevates their value. So, if you want to pursue someone like this, you'll need to have strong emotional intelligence and a solid material foundation. Second, you need to consider whether your emotional resilience is strong enough to handle the challenges that come with loving someone who's highly desired by others. Can you live with the anxiety and competition that might follow? When someone you love is adored by many others, it tests your emotional stability and your ability to accept such a situation. Romantic relationships, especially committed ones, require the highest level of exclusivity. At first, when other people are just pursuing the person you're interested in, the demand for exclusivity might not feel so intense. They just want to win them over. But once you're the one in the relationship, maintaining that exclusivity becomes your top priority. You'll find yourself needing to fend off lingering admirers or competitors. Even if no one directly challenges you, just knowing that others still express admiration for your partner can leave you feeling unsettled. This can create a constant, low-level anxiety that affects your peace of mind. That said, it's completely natural to want a good-looking, attractive, or even sexy partner. There's nothing wrong with having an appreciation for beauty. It's human nature. But here's the thing. Beauty is often the first quality to lose its impact in a relationship. In economics, this is called the law of diminishing marginal utility. In psychology, it's the reduced effectiveness of repeated stimuli or habituation. In simple terms, no matter how attractive someone is, the longer you're with them, the less striking their beauty will seem over time. The biggest impact of their appearance is usually the first time you see them, when the visual stimulation is at its peak. At that moment, it's easy to overlook everything else about them and focus solely on how beautiful they are. You might even feel as though no price is too high to have them. But as the relationship goes on, the thrill you get from their looks will naturally fade. This can leave you feeling dissatisfied or imbalanced, and over time, you might even start seeing them as less attractive than before. On the flip side, if you don't make beauty your top priority when choosing a partner and instead focus on their inner qualities, you'll find more enduring satisfaction. Those inner qualities will continue to enrich the relationship long after the initial spark of attraction fades. Compared to focusing only on physical appearance, valuing someone's character or other inner traits will give you a sense of long-term fulfillment. You'll feel like you're getting more and more out of the relationship, which creates a positive feedback loop where your partner seems even more attractive to you over time. To be clear, being beautiful doesn't mean someone lacks inner qualities. People with extraordinary skills and abilities often have the luxury of choosing partners who are both physically stunning and inwardly exceptional. The point here is to encourage balance when choosing a partner. Don't let yourself be completely drawn in by what you can see on the surface while neglecting the deeper aspects of who they are. That said, if you're set on being with someone exceptionally beautiful, then you need to put in the effort to improve your ability to handle it, both in terms of your personal strengths and your emotional resilience.
For regular folks like us, chasing after a beautiful wife can be a risky move. I used to be someone who prioritized looks, a looks-only kind of guy, and I was dead set on dating attractive women. But honestly, I paid a steep price for that mindset. There's a deeper reason why being with a very beautiful woman can be challenging, especially for the average guy. If a regular woman happens to be exceptionally attractive, her looks often open doors for her. People treat her differently, give her special privileges, and offer her opportunities that others might not get. But here's the thing, every advantage comes with a flip side. Enjoying this kind of treatment can sometimes lead to bad habits, like a tendency to expect things without effort, vanity, selfishness, an obsession with comparison, or even laziness. When these habits take root, it's hard to expect her to be warm, understanding, or emotionally supportive. Now, ask yourself, could you be truly happy marrying someone who comes with so many challenges? Of course, I'm not saying that all beautiful women are materialistic, shallow, or lack good character. That's absolutely not true. But for the average person, my advice is straightforward. As long as you think she's pleasant to look at, that's enough. Focus more on how she makes you feel when you're with her. Don't put beauty at the top of your list. Instead, prioritize her inner qualities. When you value someone's inner traits, you'll find that over time, those qualities continue to bring you happiness and fulfillment. This long-term benefit far outweighs the temporary thrill of physical beauty. You'll feel like your investment in the relationship is paying off, which will create a positive emotional cycle where you find her more appealing and attractive as time goes on. Now, if you're determined to find someone who's not only beautiful but also has great inner qualities, you'll need to ask yourself if you can handle it. Being able to handle this kind of partner involves two key factors. First, it's about your emotional intelligence and overall competence. Second, it's about your material situation. Either your income needs to be significantly higher than hers, or your abilities need to far surpass hers in some way. Essentially, you'll need to have a clear edge in some area. If her other attributes are about the same as yours, and you still insist she has to be exceptionally beautiful, there's a good chance she won't be satisfied living an ordinary life with you.
Have you ever wondered why people often say you shouldn't marry a super beautiful wife? There's an old Chinese saying, marry for virtue, not for beauty. But why is it that men are often cautioned against choosing a very beautiful wife? Here are three main reasons. First, having a stunningly beautiful wife means more competition. You'll constantly have to deal with admirers and potential rivals, which can be exhausting. Even if your wife is loyal, has great values, and a strong character, there will always be people vying for her attention or trying to win her over. Second, extremely beautiful women are often perceived as being more temperamental or strong-willed. This comes from the fact that their looks have likely given them advantages in life from a young age, shaping their sense of self-worth and confidence. Over time, this can make them seem more entitled or less flexible in their personality. Third, marrying an exceptionally beautiful woman can impact a man's focus and priorities. When a man has a gorgeous partner, he might find himself spending more time trying to keep her happy and entertained. Since she's likely been accustomed to receiving a lot of attention from a young age, often starting in her teens, she might naturally expect the same from her husband. As a result, he might end up dedicating more time and energy to maintaining his relationship rather than focusing on his career, goals, or personal growth. That's why it's often said that men who marry exceptionally beautiful wives may find it harder to maintain a peaceful, balanced family life. If you're skeptical, just look at the first wives of many highly successful men. None of them are exceptionally beautiful. So, for any single guy still in the early stages of building his career, here's some advice. When choosing a wife, don't focus solely on outward beauty. Instead, prioritize the qualities that truly matter in the long run.